Hello everybody, this is JP3 here, and we are getting ready to continue the Halo 2 Deathless, Painless, and I should say Exploitless series, and our next up is going to be Regret. Probably the second hardest mission in this game by almost any standard. Now, I'm going to start off by letting you know that I still am struggling a little bit with my voice, my throat. Got a bit of a lingering throat tickle cough and a little bit of laryngitis, so I'm going to have to talk a little bit deeper, and I'm going to do a little bit of a less is more approach. But I'm going to try my best to convey as much information as possible, but also maybe let the gameplay do some of the talking too. So just as a quick note, when I start almost any level, especially a level like this with options like this, I usually tend to go pretty aggressive early on, knowing that ultimately if I don't get it to work, it doesn't matter all that much. I can just restart it. I don't have a ton of time invested at that juncture. So there you have it. That's how powerful the Elite Ultras are in Halo 2. If you go out and stick a sticky on one of those elites right off the bat like that, usually not only will you get a kill, but you also prevent the other two elites from coming in. And I rarely ever die from doing it. I don't remember the last time I died from doing it that way, even though it looks risky. This is one of the toughest things to deal with. This is an Elite Ultra with a Needler with tracking rounds, because that's the best way to kill them. However, with that kind of distance, I still like to have the scope there to help me out. Alright, let's get to it. I'm going to have to explain this now so it makes more sense later on when it happens. So, the way we're going to deal with the Jackal Snipers in this area and in a few other areas in this level is we're going to do what I'm now terming alert level manipulation. But the first thing you want to do coming out of that room is take care of the elite that almost always is doing that. If you do start with that method of running out and throwing the grenade, he's usually staying there at the wall like he should have a dunce cap on. So because we've used grenades and the beam rifle, we probably don't have the Jackals in an overly alert state just yet, as is kind of obvious here. So I'm going to see if I can find one and take one out. Now, as soon as I do that, this is what I'm going to do to manipulate their alert levels. Now, I'm going to assume that the Jackal we saw at first is now looking for me. So I come in here, do that little circle, that little loop, and when I come back out, his alert level will be down such that I have a chance to shoot him before he can no-scope me. It's entirely possible that because I'm using the beam rifle that he wasn't alerted to the first kill. But I don't count on that, and I still do my manipulation here of their alert levels. Now, you may think that I'm getting lucky or that I'm just really skilled with the sniper as this kind of goes forward, but I promise you we're going to have a couple of good examples where it's clearly not that I'm just super skilled or super lucky. Now, there can be 4 on that platform. There's 4 spawn points on that platform, and there's 2 to the one that's to my right. There's only 5 Jackal Snipers in this area, so we could have 2 over on that platform, and 3 over there, or 4 over there, and 1 on the platform to our right. Now, if you can't find them, that means that they are not yet ready to come out and play. So we need to goose them out. And usually the carbine, if it's available as it is here, does a really good job of that. The beam rifle does not. I'm going around and doing the loop-de-loop again out of complete and utter just being way too safe for 4 minutes into a mission, but for some of these videos, I think that taking a more deliberative approach was probably better than moving through it fast and rock 'em, sock 'em, even at the very first submissions when I like to do that more so than later on. This guy might be, the next guy might be a, well, I don't think he's a great example because now I remember where he's at. So, let's check it out. I shoot and hopefully stir one of them up. There's still 3 remaining. And as we know, there could be 2 on that platform. Or it may be only 1 that's left on that platform. I'm not overly concerned about being sniped right here because of this alert level manipulation technique. I'm being careful, but I'm not too concerned. Now it's time to look at this platform, and this is one of the classic spawn points. That's actually that sniper, if you stay in the position I'm at there, he's one of the safer snipers to deal with because sometimes when he shoots at you from that position, he'll only hit the geometry. He'll only hit the floor. He won't actually hit you. Now, he can move, and if you move into a different position, so of course you take him seriously, but now I do the alert level manipulation, see if maybe that killed, and me being present drew an enemy out, and here we go. That is a perfect example of a Jackal whose alert level has been manipulated by this method. There are many of us that in that same exact position, A, wouldn't have him just standing there, and B, when he saw us, wouldn't have him immediately just shoot us. Or wouldn't have him not immediately just shoot us. That's a double negative. But anyway, I think you see what I mean. It gave me a chance to kill him, even though he saw us before I shot him. You know, kind of like all the other enemies in Halo, for the most part. Well, at least in other Halos. So now we're only down to 1. I'm betting that with all the noise we've made, that we would have seen the Jackal if there was the 4th one on that platform. So I think he's over there in that little window area, that little outcropping or ledge. And so I'd throw a grenade over there, just make sure it bounces enough to where it will explode. And it won't explode like, you know, in the water. He will come out if he's there. Sometimes you can stick it in there and kill him. Now I'm looking at this platform just in case, but at this point I'm pretty sure he's not on it. And lo and behold, another great example. It's a terrible example of how a headshot on Jackal Snipers doesn't always work. Or, well, no, it's a great example of how terrible that is. But it's also a great example of how that stupid, idiotic element of this engine doesn't have to make you suffer a premature death. Now, again, we're only 7 minutes in. If you, the reason why I like to show the alert level manipulation with those Jackals is just to show you that you don't have to get lucky and die to get past this part. You can do my method, and if you're skilled enough, you'll get the snipe off before the Jackal hits that high alert level to where there's just no chance to kill him. Now there's one more Jackal Sniper in this immediate area. He is over on that platform. Notice how I use the stone block as cover. He usually is in the center or central part of that platform. I like to go with the beam rifle as much as possible until all 6 of these snipers are dead. The 5 that are over there and then the 1 here, because the beam rifle doesn't tend to jerk them out of cover or out to play nearly as readily as the carbine and other weapons. Now I'm just trying to goose him out of that cover. He moves. I get a shot on his weapon, which is the same as a limb shot, which essentially it'd take 3 limb shots from a sniper rifle to kill a sniper Jackal on Halo 2 Legendary. And I don't know if the shot got him or the splash damage from the grenade got him, but he's dead, so now we can all breathe a sigh of relief if you're playing at this part and accomplish this, at least for the next 2 to 3 in-game minutes or so. Notice how I goosed him out successfully, but didn't see him walk up like that. And the elite jumps on the stone box. Narrowly misses getting his headshot, but does he learn from that mistake? Well, no. And he does us a solid and jumps back up there before his shields recharge. Thank you, Elite Major. Thank you very, very much. Now, I am recording this using the Xbox One DVR. It only records for 10 minutes at a time, so I had to cut and put this all together, but I assure you it's all one segment of gameplay. I don't remember if I put the Iron Skull on for this, because every time I played Regret, I got it 3 times in a row, but each time I definitely wanted to go through each of the parts if I had died and make sure I was learning. Make sure I was getting all the strategies and methods down, because it's a long level and there's 2 other major elements that I want to show you and teach you about to make this more painless, a little more painless at least. One of the big ones does involve the Regret boss fight. I've got some very interesting ideas on it. I'm not as certain with it as I am about manipulating the alert level of most of the snipers in this level, but I think I've got some pretty good ways to look at that battle that might help you out a whole lot if you're struggling with it. Alright, now we're ready for the Jackal Snipers over here. There are 4. If I'm wrong about that, I'm going to put some text in there to correct myself, but I'm pretty sure there's 4. I have not played this in 3 weeks. I've been on to other things, so. But I do know how to manipulate their alert levels, so you can kill them all with relative ease. Arguably, this is a slightly harder group. Notice how we refilled on carbine and stickies if needed, but ultimately we're going to want to get up here. Now, this isn't some trick or cheat. There's a fresh beam rifle right there. Clearly, Bungie felt like that this will be a great place for you to set up shop. So notice how I come right out and take out the first Jackal Sniper, whose alert level was low because we had not shown ourselves yet. I'd made a mistake in going after the elite. That's a dumb idea. Just do exactly what I did. Go right around to that part and then come back over here and their alert levels will be lower again. And I'm going to show you where that's fairly evident. Notice again, I missed this guy. I missed that he's down there. He's not looking ready to fire upon us. One thing you should know about using this as the alert level manipulation tactics, do not go so far that you are out to where a Jackal Sniper on that platform could see you through that opening. So go just enough to reach the part where it's almost, you can see the opening in front of you, and then come right back and they'll be ready to be shot. So he's yawning over there. And also, he can take a shot to the face and not die. I don't understand it. I don't get it. But that's why I developed this strategy. I'll tell you where it come from later on in the mission, because actually I arrived at it in a way that that has to do with another part of this mission, but it also has to do with a very common occurrence in Halo 2. You've all probably done this type of method. Everyone's probably done this before to take care of another problem. I'll save that for later. And I think this is number 4. Notice how, again, we don't get 360 no-scope, because upon shooting him, there, believe it or not, in Halo 2, there is a larger window of time for getting that alert level up to that max than there is for the actual shot itself. So there's this window before their alert level hits that all-time high, and we just saw it there. There was enough of a window they didn't immediately turn around and snipe me, which I can show. I'll have a fail video out. It's pretty big. To where a non-properly manipulated Jackal can shoot you up as soon as you shoot him through an elite from 1,000 yards away. I mean, it's almost literally. If their alert level is high enough, that's exactly what they can do. If it is not, then you can do exactly what I just showed you with that final Jackal, and with the Jackal earlier on the other platform. I don't consider this an exploit because I feel like that it makes more sense that you walk away for a little bit, they kind of lose interest, and then you can get a leg up on them. And plus, you know, I just don't agree with most of the, well, with the number of the Jackal Snipers in this game in the first place. We'll get to that when we get into the underwater room.
The Covenant's getting nosy.
I think the way they're used is
so I'm rerouting a few
lot of
stragglers back to
BS, but
I apologize.
I'm going to go ahead and let some of the gameplay speak here. Some of these strategies are not revolutionary here. You try to goose these guys out of cover, the elites mainly. It can be harder to do than you'd want it to be, but if you can get a good shot on a grunt, or continue to spam the carbine in there, a lot of times you will get one of them to come out. And we can kill them before they can come up here and cause trouble for us or our Marines. I do like to have the Marines for the gondola ride. Don't need them, but boy, they really can be very helpful.
A gondola is launching from the far towers. Big surprise, it's full of Covenant reinforcements.
Yeah, we're working on it. Cortana. There's something that comes up in a little bit, a very minor thing that most people know, but just to help illustrate just how difficult Halo 2 is compared to any of the other campaigns on Legendary. I really want to take 2 full beam rifles onto that gondola, so I put that one down and pick up a lesser one because we only have like a couple of jackals here. So I want you to watch the green jackal, Jackal Miner. Look at our shields. Our shields hit that point with his shots, despite the fact that we were spamming the carbine and he was being shot with a BR. So despite all of that pressure on this Jackal Miner, the lowest level of Jackal or of this enemy in the game, he was still able to get off that type of accuracy. And of course, with our weak shields combined with that, you saw just how quickly you can die in this game from, I mean, we got this enemy dead to rights type scenarios. So I don't know if that makes sense, but you know, there's no reason why that enemy should be a challenge for us as we're currently shooting him. But despite all of that, got those shots off and hit us not only accurately, but also with you know, with the Halo 2, our new Brazilian armor and shields, you know, took us down to no shields at all really fast. And I can tell you right now that the Jackal Majors are a lot more accurate and fired a lot more fast. That's a Jackal Miner, so always, 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 when you're in a combat scenario, be ready to take cover. Because even the smallest of thing, the most dominated of enemy, they can take down the most iconic character in maybe in all of first-person shooters with just you know, a couple of bolts there. So I like to take, this is a little bit of overkill, a little bit, but I like to take 2 fresh beam rifles, the human sniper rifle, or another beam rifle. I like to at least divvy it up a little bit. And a full carbine, a full BR, and the shotgun. The BR and or carbine are probably, even for my own purposes, could be a little excessive. I mean, you could argue that all of it's excessive, but I feel like that you're in a really good position. That's when I remember where I put that full beam rifle. I feel like you put yourself in the best position over the next 5 to 10 minutes of combat if you have this set up. Again, except for maybe the carbine and the BR being redundant at this point. Especially since in the next area there's plenty of carbine. When I say the next area, I guess what I really mean is the once the gondola reaches the next, the underwater elevator reaches the next area. So this is what the Marines are good for. If I'm not on my game with those snipes, they'll usually help take these guys down. There's one. I took 2 down, and the Marines took the other 2 out. Well, I'm trying to no-scope in Halo 2. Not exactly my forte in Halo 2.
Is it over?
And they also do a really good job of helping out with this group of enemies. They may serve only as a really strong distraction sometimes, but that's enough for me.
Either built this way on purpose or was created by some other cataclysmic event.
I believe you almost always have 2 elites with carbines, so that's why it's Prothos there. That's why it's important to be very wary of this group.
Natural born killers.
And that's how you know that your Marines have done a good job, especially if you put the "I would have been your daddy's" skull on. Natural born killers. I wish I could talk louder with more force and gravitas. I can't do it. Oh. Back to the video. Oh, come on. There we go. So, if you take the 2 snipers out up there, sometimes you'll get the other 2 snipers to come out. But sometimes when you shoot all 3, the other one runs back in. So, in order to be the safest against this next sniper, against the last sniper remaining, I should say, you really want to stay on this side of the gondola. And at some point, as you get closer, you really want to move down and use the natural cover of the ramp, like so. But to be honest with you, I have not had that sniper bother me over here. I've had him shoot me dead as a doornail on the other side, though. So definitely stay on this side if you know what's good for you. This is usually when I grab the shotgun. Actually, that's probably not true. Now notice how, with all of that sniping, we wore down this beam rifle to a useless state. And with the sniper, the human sniper rifle, we took all of its ammo as well, sniping the gondola and the buggers. So that's why I have the full beam rifle. That's to take with us into the next section, where there isn't a full beam rifle available until we get into the thick of that underwater room. I think it speaks for itself, but if you notice right there, I did not worry at all about that Jackal Sniper at all. I have not had him shoot me when I ran in there with a shotgun like that. He immediately seems to drop his sniper rifle and gets really scared. Now, as soon as I take care of those enemies, I like to come up here. It usually stops, it almost always stops the drone from spawning. It just depends on how fast you get up there. Plus, you get to take care of him. On Legendary, he's usually an Ultra, which means he'll spam grenades and kill you from up there. Get the fuel rod and take care of the final jackals that are remaining. You don't need the fuel rod to do that, but obviously I'm not going to use it anymore, so why not? Even if it's overkill. Oh, there we go. Now, if you don't know what you're doing, don't jump down here. Be careful. You got plenty of time. Now, this room here, this elevator, for some reason, you can shoot through that roof up until a certain point. So I usually take advantage of this. If I don't kill them all, or if I don't want to take advantage of that, throwing a grenade in that elevator with all those jackals in a close space is sufficient for killing them. Now I'm going to keep the BR because again there's plenty of carbine in the other area. And I'm going to take the full beam rifle. Now what happens next, after we get our weapons here, is something that a lot of you, or some of you, or maybe only a handful of you will not like. I promise you it is necessary for our survival. At least with my strategy, it is necessary for our survival. I wish she would have ran off that elevator just then. But I turned it on, went in and turned it on. That way, the other Marine wouldn't run on, and I would only need to do that once. Now, I don't like killing her. It kind of hurts my heart. I think I die a little bit every time I've had to do that. But I can promise you this: she will, or any other Marine, it's not just her, but they will mess up our. This is me saying a prayer. Respect.
and mercy.
She would die anyway in this section, I can
Apparently,
promise you that.
Regret jumped the gun when he attacked Earth.
But with the strategy
He's
we're going to
asking the
use
other
for the
prophets to
ridiculously
forgive his premature
sniper-infested
arrival,
underwater
arguing that
room,
no human
we do not
presence
need a
was
Marine to mess it up
That
at
explains why
all.
there were so few ships in
It is
history.
the scariest
It's odd a
sniper
prophet
part
would have such bad intel about his enemy's homeworld.
in this game if you don't play it right. Although none of these snipers with my method are as scary as one sniper is near the end, and we'll get to that guy in a little bit. Now, at some point, if my voice will allow me, I might do a little bit of editorializing on what I think about the sheer amount of Jackal Snipers that are included in this godforsaken room that could be a very, very enjoyable place for combat if it weren't for, again, the sheer number of snipers that can show up. There are 4 snipers in the room at the beginning. Obviously not this room. This is why I took the BR, because I'm a little more effective with the BR against the grunts than I am with the carbine. There are 4 snipers that we are going to kill. The other potential 9 that could spawn, we will be skipping. Now, some of you may think that that's an exploit or that goes against my general way of playing in these guides, but and you know what? Part of me wants to certainly agree with you, but you know, when someone plays the library, even someone, a completionist, an anal completionist like me, you don't kill every single flood that could spawn. I call it exhausting the spawn. You don't exhaust every single flood spawn in that level. And in the very same way, I'm not going to exhaust both of these Jackal spawns. The 2 other Jackal spawns that can occur. I'm just not going to do it. And I'll talk about it more on the elevator ride. So here, this corner right here is the scariest corner of the 2. The reason why is because, and this may be the best way to put it, if the enemy's gun can quote-unquote see you, it can shoot you. So when you come around this corner, if the Jackal Sniper is alerted, it can shoot you literally before you even see the weapon. On the other side, however, you'll see an arm or shoulder or body before you might see the gun. You'll have a better chance. So I come around here first because I know that if the Jackal Sniper is patrolling, which I'm surprised it isn't, then I can get a potential kill on him before he's alerted to my presence. He's the one you want to kill first and foremost. Because again, based on what I just told you about the positioning, they hold their gun in the right hand and how it's, you know, their body's obscured. The only thing that you would see, or if you even see it before it shoots you, is the gun itself. This is the most dangerous place. And so you want to get this guy while he's patrolling and unalerted. Now, to be honest with you, I was not expecting him to be nowhere to be found. I don't know why that is, because I think even now as I think about it, he's not always the one patrolling. Sometimes you do see the honor guard. I was still a little surprised. So I come over here just in case. This is where we're going to go to manipulate the alert level of the Jackal Sniper. I'd say about the middle of that room. If you want to be safe about it and go over to the other ramp, that's great, but I don't think you need to go up it or anything. Heck, sometimes you can manipulate the alert levels just by going from one side to the next, but that's a little riskier for my taste, especially if you've just alerted the whole room with a kill. If you bring a Marine in here, they will immediately alert that honor guard, start firing at him, and everything will go to hell. It's just like Delta Halo. If the Marines will screw everything up and take the control out of your hands, they may get a couple kills before they die, but ultimately you don't want them out. So I throw a grenade over there. Sometimes you get a kill. Sometimes you just goose them from cover. Now notice he is definitely coming out. So instead of going to manipulate his alert level, which you probably should just go and do, I decided to throw a grenade over there thinking that, you know what? He's alerted, but he's not alerted to me. Again, not using a carbine, I'm using grenades and the beam rifle, and if you know anything about how Halo 2 kind of works, those weapons have a different effect on the alert level of the enemies. Again, this is not uncommon knowledge. the grenades and the sniper rifles. Very different than almost every other weapon, but especially a BR, carbine, those kind of weapons that they immediately they immediately attend to you, and it's good for goosing them out if you need them out. But in this case, I used the grenade because, you know, sometimes you can get that kill. And plus, again, it keeps their alert level at a position where I like it. Now, I'm fully expecting that there's going to be a patrolling Jackal Sniper here, since there wasn't one over there. I mean, what are the odds? But to be honest with you, I don't know, maybe the odds are kind of high. It looks to me, at this point, as if the Jackal Sniper over here is essentially in the same position as the other one was over there. So I'm going to throw a grenade right where I think he might be close to standing. I think this is a part where, yeah, I just go to the other side. Excuse me. Now, I know that the Jackal Sniper that's over here, I've killed the patroller. This one's just going to be standing there. Now, notice he is alerted enough to come out and show us his beak or nose or snout or whatever. So we give him an extra nose hole, a la Dutch from Halo 3 ODST. I think he's the one that says that. So now we've got 2 down and 2 to go. The 2 that are down are both on the scary side, so that's good news. And I come to that side and realize that that's not the right side, or the correct side, I should say. But just to be sure, I guess I'll go check over here anyway. 1... 2 beam rifles that are not where they're supposed to be, unless you kill an enemy and it drops it there. 2 left over here. Now I'm wondering if the patroller will be out and about, so I immediately go into really careful mode, but notice again that around this corner you'll have a much better chance at killing them, because you'll see its body before its gun sees you, if that makes any sense at all. Hopefully I explained that earlier. That's a great example of how a Jackal without a high alert level doesn't immediately shoot us as soon as we come into sight. It gives us a chance to kill him before he can kill us. Is that a guaranteed way to kill a Jackal Sniper for anybody? No. But if you're playing this, if you're playing Halo 2 on Legendary, I'm going to assume that given that window of time, you're going to shoot them and kill them effectively most, if not all the time. And if you don't, it's not because the Jackal Sniper shot you before you had a chance to react. Notice, I don't know if you can hear it, but as soon as I threw that grenade, I heard the Jackal move around, which is very good. That means he's out. Now I'm going to go and get his alert level back to where I want it, and come back and take care of him. I think I do stop off 2 birds here with 1 stone and pick up some stickies. You'll notice how not cautious I am with this Jackal Sniper. Feel free to be as cautious as you want. Wrong side. Feel free to be as cautious as you want, but you know, there's just a gut instinct that starts to set in when you use this method enough, and you just kind of know that this really ain't that big of a deal once their alert level's this low. I thought I saw the dot. I mean, don't ask why I knew that he wouldn't go around that case and shoot me, but it just, I didn't worry about that in the slightest at that point. Again, feel free, if you shoot him, go back to that area, manipulate his alert level and all that stuff. So I look over here to see if there's drones, anything that could stop me from doing this. So we're just going to skip the rest of the enemies in this area. Again, I'm not one to sit here and kill a clown car spawn of Jackal Snipers if I don't have to, and have to go through that same process 9 more times. No thanks. No thanks. Jackal Snipers are not mid-range infantry. Snipers, the sniper class of enemy, shouldn't be a mid-range enemy. And they treat them like that here. They bring 8 of them into a small enclosed space. It's like Bungie didn't even remember or know or give a crap about what a sniper class enemy is supposed to do and supposed to be like. As crappy as the Jackal Snipers are in this game, I'd say 60 to 70% of them are used correctly. But there's a good 30 to 40% of them that aren't. So I come to this side, so I can stop editorializing here, come to this side, and to my surprise, we got a very, very reactive elite. And so, again, like I said before, just be ready to take quick cover at all times. One of the biggest killers in Halo, in any Halo, but especially in Halo 2, because of how unforgiving it is to be out of position. I'm going to assume that most of you can watch this and merge this, fuse this with your own gameplay style, and aren't going to have to worry about being out of position whenever you run across something like that. That's a great side to come to for me, but you might like the other side. But if you get treated like that by the game engine, I'd like to hope that you know to get cover fast, that this isn't heroic difficulty. This isn't maybe even some of the other Halos where you could get caught off guard and maybe try to take a couple shots, maybe throw a sticky before. No, just go to cover. That was the last thing I expected him to do, was to shoot out of nowhere and start shooting at me. So instead of trying to kill him or reacting, so I just immediately went to cover it. And I was standing in the spot I was standing and went to that side because for some reason I'm just more comfortable with the cover over there. Again, it's about getting in, it's about positioning yourself and all of that stuff, especially as you get into the harder difficulty levels. Legendary being a very obvious, obviously important to not find yourself out of position. As you noticed there, I went and got the checkpoint by the elevator, and when you do that, you can go back in that room and you can dance, you can go up to the statue and have Cortana talk about her head and big and all that stuff, make a joke. If there's Marines alive, if you actually were crazy enough to bring them with you, they'll be in there. If they're alive still, and they'll be stuck usually over on the left side, down near that door, and you just push them a little bit and they'll get unstuck and come with you. But again, strongly advise you not bring them to use my method. They will screw it up. Poor bastards. Now, just real quickly, again, I don't like it, and please leave it in the comments, tell me I'm a hypocrite. I don't like having to leave those enemies behind, but I thought about it long and hard after going through all 9 of the other ones, taking 15 minutes to do that. And of course the 50-50 shot it was when I went down there and tried to scare them all into dropping their snipers, or tried to grenade them and hope to God that they didn't shoot me first. It just became a 50-50 proposition on that. I just decided that, what's the goal here? The goal for me is to make it safely, I guess, to the profit of truth, not to spend time in a relatively unimportant room taking out every single Jackal Sniper that exists in there. So maybe it is hypocrisy, but I feel like, again, there's just no reason to use Jackal Sniper as some kind of close to mid-range infantry unless you're trying to make the game artificially difficult. Especially when the sniper can kill you and be so lethal and effective at such a ridiculously short to medium range. Again, sniper class enemies are not supposed to be effective at close range. Snipers have to line up shots and have, less ability to, fire their weapons rapidly. Now, this is the place where I came up with the alert level manipulation. Now, oftentimes, you don't kill the drones as efficiently as I do here, right? Actually, there's one more drone that, we'll talk about him in a minute, that prolongs this crap. But anyway, so a lot of times, whether it's an elite or the drone, they'll continue shooting at you even after you've moved, right? Everybody's seen that straight line of plasma or the needles just bounce all over the wall. And if you walk out, you're going to get hit with it. and probably die, right? So what have you done to mitigate that? What have you done to get rid of that? You probably go walk a few steps until it stops firing, right? That's where the idea came from. I have no idea how he died, by the way. I didn't even get a score for it. But somehow, some way, he died. And it wasn't the Pelican, because it's not here yet. So I don't know how he died. But anyway. But, again, you've probably done that to get them to stop firing in that straight line so you could come out if that was the only place you could come out of. So that's where the idea came from. I don't remember if it was this level or another one where I put it into practice, but when I realized that, well, what if that worked with Jackal Snipers? And, you know, eventually it became the strategy that it is, and I've been able to show you how to use it effectively in Metropolis a little bit, and Outskirts a lot, and here it's almost essential if you want to get past the first, first 13 snipers in this game. There may be even more than that. I'm trying to remember. 26. Yeah, it is 13. The first 13. No, it's actually more than that. I don't remember. Now, this bugger, as we all know, we can't just walk out and not know where the bugger's at. Not know where the drone is. Again, as we talked about before, a Jackal miner can destroy the icon of the series while being shot by, several people. This is something I've never seen before. I'm shooting into the other dead bugger body to kill him who's stuck in the geometry. So, thanks a lot for prolonging things, pal. Now, I really need these two Marines alive. The scariest Jackal Sniper in this level is coming up. Now, this is an area where we really, this is where, I can only tell you what's best to do, but I can give you no guarantees about whether or not it'll work. You want to make sure both of the Marines have sniper rifles.
I'm a huge fan.
I love the... Can you sign it, sir? I'm such a huge fan. So you'll make sure they both have human sniper rifles if at all possible, because then you'll know if it's them shooting. Now, this part here, there are 3 snipers in this area. I usually like to take him out and immediately move, because there's another sniper on that walkway. You can't see him very well because of that freaking bush. Now, I am doing this jumping here to bypass the bush that I can't see through, but the Jackal Snipers can. It is the worst piece of texture in this entire effing game. I'm doing the jumping not because I'm a Halo player, but because I'm trying to be as... I'm trying to do that. So what you hope, you get the first sniper that's to the right. I mean, you can start with the sniper that's immediately in the way, but I feel like that your Marines do a better job of taking care of him before they die. Then you get the elite with the carbine, which is a massive problem, usually kills your Marines. So while they're all shooting at your Marines and you're in cover, you jump over the bush like an idiot. This texture that they can see through and shoot through perfectly well, as if it wasn't there, that you can't. And you hope to God that you spam the carbine and kill that Jackal. The final Jackal Sniper, this ambushing mother effer here, just make sure you don't move past that point until you kill him. If you move past that point, I can't guarantee he'll ever show up where you want him to again. I love how they throw grenades as they're coming off the dropship. It's like that Wraith shooting the Wraith mortar in the Ark when it's coming down from the dropship. It shoots it through the dropship. That's even more egregious, but anyway. I love how he throws that grenade. So this is a group of, I think, 3 Jackals, maybe 4 Grunts, and 2 Elites. As long as you're cautious and careful, you've got a lot of cover, you've got a lot of ammunition, they really shouldn't be a problem for you. Just as long as you take him seriously. Yeah, that 30th, I believe he's the 30th Jackal Sniper. Damn it. I believe that's the 30th and final Jackal Sniper over there. If you move anywhere more, it's hard to get him to show up in that area, that where he was at just then where we shot him. It's important that he stay there because, like one of the early Jackal Snipers, he tends to hit the geometry, and you can usually get the headshot on him, like we did. If you move, he may not come back to that spot, and that means he's going to be over there just waiting for you. And I promise you, as far as I know, there's no way. As far as I know, I've never really... I think I may have tested it once. I don't know how to manipulate his alert level. I don't know how to work him. And to be honest with you, I've never really tried because, again, it's really easy to just kill him right there.
Straight to the main temple. Not much further now.
Since we've killed the elites, we've got only, looks like 3 grunts left over here. If they're ultras, that means they're going to try to throw grenades. You might as well have the catch skull on. Now there's one more group of enemies before we get on the gondola. This is where there's some some high concept stuff coming up. And I hope I have the voice to explain it. The first thing's easy to explain. The next one, the regret fright, I'm not sure I'll see if I can get through it. I may have to wait till you ask me questions. I may even write some words. I don't know. There's 5 over here, so if you throw a grenade in there better than I did, you're hoping for a kill-tacular. 4 kills. Otherwise, be careful. Now that they're all dead, I'm going to stock this gondola up. I'm going to stock this gondola up for the upcoming carnage. A full human sniper rifle. As full as... you know, whatever carbine. There's plenty of ammo for it in the final area. Sorry. A full BR and the best Jackal Sniper rifle that you can find. If it's over 90, just take it. Oh yeah, and the rocket launcher. Make sure you got 8 rockets, you know, 6 plus 2 in the chamber. That's all you really need. It may also appear to be overkill, but I can promise you this, it's worth it. It's worth it. We'll use them all. Well, again, I would say that unless you... I mean, that you could argue the carbine is the only non-essential thing, but I still like to be safe. It's 1 extra weapon. That's all you need. 1 more weapon to walk over here, so I can do that. Alright, let's get this show started. Alright, this is the toughest part in the mission, in my opinion. It still is the toughest part in the mission.
So far, so good.
Now, you guys may not agree with me, but it's the toughest part if things don't go your way, and here things don't go my way, so I have to resort to a strategy that
we're trying to find a way around it. I'll keep you
I'm not sure I've never seen anybody do it. If that happens, don't reload your weapon. Because that means that it's probably an elite minor, which means this will be an elite ultra, which means it'll take 3 quick consecutive shots to kill it. You want to make sure and kill it before its shields recharge. As I've said before in my videos, you don't kill the vehicle, you kill the enemy inside of it. Minors, it's 1 shot. Ultras, it can be 3, 4 can be infinite if you let shields continue to recharge. I do not know a perfect way to fire the rocket over there and get kills. I've never seen anyone that did. Do not let the gondola see you and stay in this position right here. Do not let the gondola see you and get right here. If the gondola doesn't see you, the grunts will not fire their tracking fuel rods over here and kill you. What you're hoping for here, if you're me, a sadist, is you want the rangers, which they will do this, to go into that section right there. They cannot shoot you any other place except for right there. So you've limited their ability to kill you from all sides and at all heights. Well, heights above you at least. And what you'd want to do is if they appear up top, you shoot them with the sniper rifle, take your stand, hope your skill wins out. If they appear low, you shoot them with the rocket launcher and you'll almost always decimate them because of the splash damage hitting the gondola. If they don't come out at all, you're going to see what happens. Cowards. I mean, there's an irony in me saying that, but still, I'm not willing, if I don't get kills with the rocket, I'm not willing to take on 2 grunts with fuel rods that track me. And they start spamming them from way over there, 20, 30 feet away. I'm not willing to do it. Unless I at least get at least 3 kills with that rocket. Then I'll take them on. And usually I would do that with the sniper rifle, then the carbine, or BR. So notice what happened here. The gondola eventually started moving, so the grunts are going to go bye-bye. Which for many of you might be exactly what you were hoping would happen, or would have ever hoped would happen. And now we get just the 2 rangers, who are doing whatever the heck it is they do when they don't know where you're at, or are too cowardly to show their face. Still a little nervous here, because I've never seen this before. Not really sure what's going to happen, not really sure if I'm going to get torn apart by the turret, if the rangers are eventually going to come out, but look at that. Look at what happens when the gondola connects with the platform. They take off running, and look at where the rangers are. We've all seen them do this before, but have you ever seen it? It looks so pretty. I can't even shoot them accurately because of how surprised I was there. I really, truly. Alright, so how you choose to take down this area here? I mean, I should probably have fired some rockets in there. I don't know why I didn't. To this moment, I don't know why I didn't. I think I was not used to having any left, because usually I take down the Banshees a little faster and get off 4 rockets, usually killing, 3, 4, 5 enemies. So here I'm just trying to maybe kill somebody, get them to come out, but what I'm ending up doing is starting the cutscene, which is okay. However you like to take these guys down, feel free to do it. I like this method, it's the safest. We're 50 minutes into this mission. No reason to getting risky. Here. God, I miss having as many grades as you tend to have in this game, in Halo 2, compared to, well, all the other ones. Notice where my reticle's at. I don't adjust, but this does the trick. It does what I wanted it to do. So all we have left are the Jackals. And a nice little twist here. We're going to switch to dual plasma rifles and take them down with just sheer overwhelming force as opposed to hard pings.
Get inside and take care
They
of
got
the
something ready for me. They had a surprise for me. But they're really no match as long as you remember what we learned earlier around the initial gondola with the Jackal Miner. Do not take risks when they're shooting at you. It doesn't matter how much pressure or force you're putting on them. They did not adjust the accuracy of these enemies whenever they're under fire. At least not well enough. So now we're gonna... this is a little bit of overkill, but I do spend a little bit of time here picking up plasma pistols just in case I need them. I mean, the grunts drop plenty of them, don't get me wrong, whenever we're killing them in the Regrets, I don't know, sermon hall or whatever this temple is, or I'm trying to get that plasma pistol because I know it's 100, because when they drop them off the turrets, it's a full plasma pistol. So let's get ready to fight the 2 dumbest placed elites in this entire game.
The
Well, maybe not in the entire game, but I'm pretty sure we're about to face an unlimited amount of elites, and here we still get 2 more. Get a very unusual kill there. We get a
Watch your back.
overcharge plasma grenade splash damage kill. I'm just still shocked that both didn't actually stick. I like to pride myself on my sticking skills, but oh well. They don't usually come out here, but don't test it. Get enough space between you and them. The elite major is the most dangerous one in the in your area right now. Still don't know that didn't stick, but got yet another kill with a overcharge splash damage combo. Now this is maybe a little indicative of how I'm going to play Regret. We're going to be patient, and we're going to be careful, and we're not going to get crazy here, and I promise you this fight can become your bitch. Usually to start, there's 2 or 3 sword elites that are right up there, but after this, it can be sword, it can be plasma. Obviously sword is safer, because they will chew you apart with the plasma rifle. We're not going to board Regret until we kill every single elite that we can kill within a reasonable amount of time. There are plenty that can spawn in this initial wave. I've seen as much as 5 spawn very fast and very consecutively. So instead of, did I say 5? I meant to say 7. We are going to kill them all. And we're not going to go out and board Regret for the first time until we can walk out and see no elites anywhere in the area. Grunt Ultras suck because they can shoot the plasma pistol that fast, and you can only imagine, yes, they shoot it as accurately as all the other enemies shoot their weapons. Notice I'm walking out here. I don't see any elites, so we get, I think, 5 or 4 there before we decide to board Regret the first time.
There's the target. Take him out.
He needs to be boarded 5 times. I don't see, I've not seen anyone do anything that made it to where you didn't have to do it 5 times. You can get off him a little quicker if you use some grenade or sword type tricks. Swords, especially with Halo, the original Halo 2, some sword flying stuff. And that has its own advantages, but this is MCC, there is no sword flying. So just know that you have to board him 5 times unless you know something that most all of us don't, or has been so difficult to replicate that we've all forgot about it. Now, I don't know if you noticed it, but he could have been easy to board a second time really fast. We saw him when we were going up the ramp to get off of the ground floor, which is where the elites spawn, which is immediately what you do every time you board Regret. You immediately get to high ground. He spawned right over there in that corner. He was to our right as we were going through the door. We could have went and jumped on him. Don't do it unless you know exactly what you're doing, or unless you're willing to die to get it done faster. Don't do it. Come right back out here and take care of the elites that will inevitably come after that first board. I think I kill 7 here before I'm ready to board him again. But there's a catch to that you're going to like. I just wish I could guarantee you something on it, but there's a catch to what I'm doing that you're going to like. Alright, I see, I think 1, maybe 2 elites coming, so I'm getting the hell out of Dodge, coming back down here, where I've got great cover. I've got plenty of ammunition. And notice, I'm not going to be in the field to play with 3 of these guys. Especially if all it would take is one of them to have a plasma rifle, and then they'd be dead. So I'm not going to be in the field to play in there. I'm not going to do it. I want you to notice how every time I come out of the door, almost every time I come out of the door, I turn around, jump, and aim my plasma pistol. The reason why I do that is because if I have an elite that's following me closely, or one that's ready to hop on that case really fast and try to cause me bodily harm, again, same thing. Look at him. He did the same exact thing. So I immediately save my life by having my plasma pistol out and overcharge him, and I don't even try to shoot him, because all it takes is, I mean, you saw how a few shots now that it took for him to get my shields down. Now notice how I came back here. I did that for a reason. Sometimes they will charge out that door. That's the safest place you can be if they do. Beautiful Halo 2 track on that plasma overcharge. I don't know if you can hear it, of course. Well, you can see it, sorry. But you could hear it there. You could hear that plasma rifle. we had 2 plasma rifle elites come out. Do you think I want to tangle with them while I'm trying to board Regret or while I'm trying to get off of him? No way. So you count them. I think that's 7 of them before the second board. But there's a catch. When I come out, I usually have the BR ready because the elites usually don't surprise me coming out. When I go back, I have the plasma pistol ready because that's when the elites will surprise you. Alright, so one thing you should know is that Regret, there's 2 catches to my method. Again, could have went and boarded him. Forget that. Don't do it. Unless you want to make this more RNG and don't mind dying and restarting at a checkpoint that may or may not have occurred after the first board. I hear a plasma rifle and I hear Regret coming after me there, so we're going to take some good cover here. Usually when the door opens, usually it's an elite that's nearby. Usually. Sometimes the grunts will, but rarely ever. You can almost bet if the door opens and elites there, so have your plasma pistol out and ready. We're going to switch weapons because the BR is getting a little too low for my taste. A little overcautious, but you know, the carbine's pretty badass in this game. Halo 3, there's a big difference in the accuracy of the BR and the carbine, with the BR being preferable. The carbine in this game is very effective. Now, I forget what I was saying there. So 2 catches to us taking our time. First catch is that if you wait that long and kill that many elites, Regret almost always returns to the center of the room after the first or second board. He almost always returns to the center of the room, usually near the back. That's excellent, because if he's doing that, he usually doesn't juke and jive too much. He usually stays there. We get right back up to the platform and get up to high ground and get to safety pretty fast. The second catch, and this is something that is, again, just like what I just said now, I'm not going to say this is a certainty, but I noticed that if I kill an inordinate amount of elites during the first, before the first and before the second board, or before both, there is a big lull in the amount of elites that come for the third and fourth boards. Notice just then, I only had 1 elite come. And for all I know, he was stuck somewhere. I don't know where he came from. But you'll notice a lull. Sometimes it's a lull that will allow you to board Regret twice before you even see another elite. The grunts can spawn in a lot of different places. They can be anywhere at any time. The elites, however, come out of specific doors. There's a lot of them, but you can usually hear them open. Beautiful Halo 2 track on that one. So notice we have 3 elites spawned here, which is fine. We're in a very safe spot for killing elites, especially sword elites. They're not going to come out here, and when they do, you've still got them dead to rights. If your overcharge occurs and you throw a grenade immediately afterwards, it looks weird like it did there. I'm telling you, gut feeling, I can't explain it, but, well, I tried to. I'm really confident that there is no elites even close to here. So I just picked up a weaker. Now look at Regret push up. So we're going to go ahead and board him right now. Now, once we get rid of the, now that's the fourth, once we finish the 4th board, this is the one weakness to my strategy of always having the plasma pistol ready coming out. And trust me, it's still the best bet. That's the one weakness, is sometimes you get an ultra who will stand in your way, you can't melee him quick enough, and so you just have to kind of go around him like I did just then. What I tell you, anytime that door opens, be ready. It's probably an elite. Now, we have got 4 boards on this guy. We do not have to worry about landing with our 5th board. As soon as we board him the 5th time, the game ends essentially, unless you stop punching him. The game will end. And usually he dies, I think it's 18 punches total that I've always seemed to get. Cover, cover, cover. Just another beautiful Halo 2 track. I don't know how in the holy hell that didn't stick in the lead. That should have stuck one of them. That's BS, but it killed something, but it didn't stick. He's talking trash. We love it. He's over here. Look at that straight line. I wish I could fire those weapons in a straight line like that. Now, again, we've killed 2 elites. Yeah, he was the bastard. We've killed 2 elites. I told you about the lull. I told you about all that stuff. Unless I hear an elite or see an elite, I am massively confident. I don't even look for an elite because I know all I've got to do is board him. Dumb move, get on the bridge and jump at him over there. That way you don't risk getting shot by him. That all being said, it's over. And I've got 2 videos that if someone wants me to post them, I most certainly will, of me repeating certain elements, repeating checkpoints, killing him, checkpoint, returning to checkpoint, doing it over and over again, and all of the testing I've done, recorded and not. That's what I've gathered, is that if you go outside of the room every time, I don't know if that just helps you with cover, general safety. But if you go outside of that room and you wait and kill as many elites as will spawn pretty fast, pretty quick, like you saw with the first 2, there was 5, I believe, and 7, I think. Those 3rd and 4th, after the 3rd board and the 4th board, you get very small numbers. Or after the 2nd board and 3rd board, it's something like that. I'll have to. I apologize. You'll see what I'm talking about. I'm trying to review it, but at the same time, my voice is kind of crackling. I'm conscious about that. But my point is this: the regret fight, as long as you stay patient and wipe out a lot of elites early, which is almost always possible, you can usually board him a 3rd and 4th and even the 5th time after killing probably 1, 2, 3 elites each time. Just every single time, don't be tempted. Just run out of the room. If you want to get this done fast, and that's your point, then this is not the video for you. This is more to take the RNG out. This is a deathless strat, and I hope to God that, I'd love to see somebody employ this and post a video or just tell me about the results. But for now, we're going to get out of here. I'm going to rest my voice, and hopefully soon I'll have it back, and I can be a little bit better at these commentaries as I'm getting better with the practice of it anyway. So, regret Halo 2. Again, please like or dislike if you don't like it. But if you like it, please comment either way. And if you really like this stuff, then subscribe. I try to put something out about once every week. I probably will step that up a little bit once my voice comes back. It'll be a little bit easier. But this is JP3 signing out. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And thank you very, very much.